Hello everyone, my name is PeterFusion and welcome back to the channel. First, I apologise for the gap between this and the previous video. To be honest, I haven't uploaded anything due to university ramming us for assignment work, and the big reason being that I am an awful procrastinator. I swear, some point in my life, procrastination is the one thing that is going to kill me. Either way, it's a brand new year. Happy late new year, by the way, and Dying Light 2 is finally out, or at least it has been for over a week now. I have plans to make a bunch of videos on this game, but for now I wanted to give my perspective on this game, review it to some extent whilst answering the question, was it worth the wait? To put the wait into perspective, let me give you a brief history of the Dying Light 2 release. Our first look at this game was in 2018 at E3 as an announcement trailer, and holy crap, the setting and graphics alone hooked me instantly. I remembered screaming from my brothers since they also loved the first game. Alongside was also a gameplay world premiere trailer which gave us a taste of the action and a tiny little teaser of the zombies. I kid you not, a whole 5 seconds. Then 1 year later, more trailers and gameplay videos were given to us, even a whole 25-minute gameplay trailer of one of the core missions. However, we did face another delay in the release date which pushed us back to 2020, 2021, and then finally we were blessed with the game's release on the 4th of February 2022. With this wait and all the trailers and general hype built around the game, especially with the Twitter account being regularly active, and advertisements such as the Dying to Know You series sharing more information on the final product, me and a whole bunch of other fans of the previous game had some seriously high expectations, especially with tweets like this in mind. Now, to help us answer the question, Dying Light 2, was it worth the wait? Let's talk about some of the aspects of the game, starting with the general atmosphere, including graphics, lighting, soundtrack, etc. This game looks beautiful, but some people have complained about the colour scheme being too colourful, with people expecting the world to be more bleak with the use of greys or browns, similar to how the trailers shown the game initially. I personally, however, love this more green take on the world. Not only is it more pleasing to look at, but it makes sense being that this game has been set 15 years after the initial Haran outbreak. You think you would expect Mother Nature to have begun regrowing around the apocalypse. It is graphically amazing, and the lighting, especially with ray tracing, looks absolutely stunning, casting shadows and reflections off of all sorts of surfaces, which for the short time I had ray tracing on, since my computer couldn't handle it, it immersed me further into this post-apocalyptic world. This game features all sorts of different atmospheres. 1 minute you could be exploring the luscious rooftops of Villador, going around collecting honey, and then the atmosphere shifts to the tension of sneaking through a metro system in order to get the power back on. Night and day feel unique, and it makes exploring the same area during the day or night feel completely different from each other. With the addition of special infected in the game such as howlers or spitters, it adds more tension to exploring in the night time, but this is outweighed by the rewards that the player gets, such as extra XP, which is exclusive to nighttime. The soundtrack in this game is astonishing. Moments of this game are greatly complemented by the use of the soundtrack, combat sequences, sneaking, and one of my personal favourites, Parkour, which has this dynamic feature which responds to what the player is currently doing. Running around will begin the track, and when the player does a big jump, the music will shift itself, and this little detail alone adds so much depth to the parkour in this game. Take a listen. In terms of the world itself, Villador and the Central Loop are great places to explore, with plenty of verticality, parkour opportunities, and all sorts of activities to do, and collectibles to find. Activities around the city include GRE facilities, GRE anomalies, radio towers, metro stations, windmills, night runner hideouts, water towers, electrical stations, GRE crates, airdrops, and loot sources such as the Dark Hallow Forsaken Store and military convoys, all of which really add to that replayability factor, alongside the collectibles, which range from audio tapes to different forms of graffiti. The open world truly has a lot to offer. Well, what about Dying Light 2's gameplay? Is it an improvement on the previous game? Well, starting with the parkour, yes. You know what, cut the video, we're done here, that's all that needs to be said. Oh, okay. Fine, I'll discuss why. Dying Light in 2015 featured parkour, which made this game stand out from any other zombies game at the time. Combining parkour and zombies worked beautifully. However, Dying Light's parkour mechanics were great, but basic. You could run faster, vault faster, jump further, upgrade crane to slide, roll, vault over zombies, and even climb up walls, but it was definitely missing some parkour elements, which Dying Light 2 gladly introduces. Here you can jump further, land safely by rolling, but now you can double jump up walls, run even faster, gain more speed or distance through doing bigger jumps from smaller vaults. You can also wall run properly now and jump from one wall to the other, combining all sorts of different moves. There are tools which give you way more ways to traverse the city. Your grappling hook is essentially your best friend, as it can be used to grapple up buildings or swing from one spot to another, and can also be used in combat by flinging yourself towards an enemy then doing a double kick. And on top of all that, the brand new paraglider, giving you the ability to not only jump from any building and land safely, but allows you to fly across the city, whilst gaining the ability to speed and use air vents to regain stamina and add further speed. These new skill abilities and Night Runner tools keeps the best elements of Dying Light 1, and also improves the parkour by giving the player more ways of traversing the world. Now the parkour sounds great, but has the combat evolved as much as, well, the parkour? Guns in this world have been made redundant, as in the story, ammo over time became severely scarce, so combat has been stripped down to melee combat and bows. This, in my opinion, was an excellent decision to make. It makes combat more fair and more dynamic. After obtaining guns in Dying Light 1, for example, as long as you had ammo for these guns, most fights could easily be solved with a few bullets, so having everyone on a more equal field makes fighting more meaningful. Essentially, you can no longer cheese certain enemies for their loot. With this decision though, more combat skills had to be added to the game. Similar to parkour, there are some classic skills such as the power attacks, slam, and the infamous stomp, which have returned. But there are some skills, new skills in fact, such as the perfect dodge, which temporarily stuns enemies, or the ability to block projectiles such as arrows, or you can take down enemies faster with a knife, or even abilities that make the bow stronger, such as the ability to pierce through enemies, or my favourite, the ability to shoot ranged weapons whilst parkouring, which honestly makes me feel like John Wick every time. As briefly mentioned, the grappling hook also has the ability to swing and kick enemies into oblivion, and you can also craft a gun. However, its durability is limited and really costly to make, so use this sparingly and only when needed. Okay, well, we've discussed the parkour and the combat, but what about the story? Is it serviceable to a AAA standard, which has come from games such as Uncharted or Red Dead Redemption? Well, no. Similar to Dying Light, the sequel doesn't do well with the story either. The foundation of the story, bear in mind, with Haran, the fall, and how it all came about, is certainly interesting, and it definitely makes me ask questions, but this small part of Aiden's journey in the city, well, it's very basic. Characters are unique from each other, but some are still forgettable. It just didn't really leave an impact on me nearly as much as characters such as Crane did. Aiden is also a great character who you can decide if he needs to be an asshole or a genuinely nice guy, but like I said, those around him are still forgettable. This series, however, does revive itself in its side missions, which usually involve characters of all sorts of different backgrounds. Some missions are basic kill this or fetch this, but some also give the player challenges, quizzes, or some just want to have a conversation. One minute I was doing a history quiz on how the world came to how it is, the next I was signing up for this dating app known in this world as Sparker, which had me meet different potential lovers. Aiden's journey to find his sister Mia is interesting, but the journey there itself isn't interesting, and the side missions for this game sadly don't give the characters involved enough screen time, I think. But with everything we've discussed, was Dying Light 2 worth the wait? Well, this is hard for me. Though I've talked positively about this game, I have to take into account the countless delays and the 4-year wait, as well as the promise of over 500 plus hours of content. I'm afraid the wait hasn't been worth it, despite the 70 plus hours I've put into this game so far. Now granted, if you are considering playing this game, I highly recommend you give Dying Light 2 a chance, because I'm not saying it is bad at all. and if you were a fan of the original, then you will not be disappointed. Also, bear in mind, Techland has said on Twitter that they will be supporting the game for the next 5 years, and maybe more. And I can confidently say that if I were to review this game a year or so down the line, my opinion would certainly change. Dying Light 1 is as good as it is today through patience and change, and I have no doubt that Techland will be able to merge this game into what Dying Light 1 became, with features such as the Legend Rank and DLC such as Hell Raid or the following to get the average play time to that sweet 500 hours they promised. But like I said, this is an amazing sequel to Dying Light, and I honestly cannot wait to see what Techland has in store for us, and I certainly can't wait to see what they do with these 2 story DLCs. Honestly, the future of this game sounds so exciting. And so there you have it. Was Dying Light 2 worth the wait? Initially no, but I have the confidence that the support this game is going to receive will all soon make that dreaded 4-year wait worth it. I plan on making more Dying Light 2 content, and certainly plan on uploading on a more frequent basis with gaming content generally. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like on the video, and please put a comment in the comment section below and tell me what your opinion is on this debate. Was the wait worth it for you? Do you agree with what I said? I'll be sure to read your comments. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe and have a good one.